and lots of getting hit by trees in the face and all kinds of other things. So I think VM and I were just talking about it now. We might just can our search in the next little bit. We'll go one more time back towards that tree in case he's turned up. I think in all likelihood we're not going to have any luck finding him. It is very thick in here. Lots of places where he could have hidden, and ultimately if he hasn't laid down, we are so far behind him now, chances of finding him are going to be almost zero. I just want to check once more around this section and see what's happening, but while I do that, I believe Byron has now found himself a bird of prey.
I have, look at this. It appears to be a steppe buzzard. It looks like a steppe buzzard. Oh, yep, a steppe buzzard. There it sits. I just want to reverse quickly. Sorry, folks, can I just hold on? I just want to see what it caught. Can you see that, folks? Is it a scrub hare that it managed to catch? I think it is. I think it is. It is. It's a scrub hare. Now, wow, I'd be very surprised. But yeah, I think this steppe buzzard managed to catch. Wow, have a look at that. It's sitting perched on the top there. Steppe buzzard managed to catch the scrub hare. This is fascinating. I've never seen this before. A lot of firsts for me. These I would have thought that maybe a scrub hare would be a bit big for a steppe buzzard or common buzzard. Let me just find it for you. I just want to double check. I'm almost certain. Those yellow legs, that yellow sear on the beak, dark eyes. It's definitely a steppe buzzard. And let's just see what they say about the food. Mainly insects, but also rodents and reptiles, and occasionally birds. So this is a rather large kill for this bird. But it's interesting, we've just mentioned how the scrub hares are becoming a lot more active this time of day. It's not quite nighttime yet, but I think the cool conditions, they're moving around a lot more. We've seen two moving around, and now a third one that the steppe buzzard managed to kill. Common buzzard, yeah. Just having a look at this bird very carefully, because it actually looks like it's got it. No, it is. Do you agree, folks? Stevie, you say you hope this hare wasn't related to the one we just saw. I don't think so, Stevie. I'm not sure though. But look at that. I'm hoping this bird decides to come down again and feed. Maybe if we sit here quietly, not too close to the kill, maybe the hunger gets the better of this bird and comes down and feeds. It would be wonderful to see it feeding on this kill. And David, all the way in Napa, asking if the steppe buzzard and the steppe eagle are the same. No, they're steppe cousins. So I couldn't resist. They're not the same, David. They're different. The buzzard, the buzzard is much smaller than the eagle. Notice also, if you have a look at the legs, David, you see how the feathers don't go all the way down the legs. And I'll try to find an eagle, a steppe eagle for you. But if I'm not mistaken, the steppe eagle, the legs, it's much larger. The legs the feathers go all the way down the legs. But it is a much larger bird, about the same size as, I would say, a tawny eagle. A buzzard is much smaller. So this new name for this steppe buzzard is actually the common buzzard. That is the name, the common buzzard. puffing its feathers up a little bit there. I was really hoping it would come down and feed again. I'll give it another minute and then I'll probably move off. I don't want to disturb the bird. It was relaxed when we found it. Keyview asks, is it possible that the bird stole the kill? You know what? I don't know what it would have stolen it from, to be honest. Anything that is large enough to kill a scrub hare like this, I don't think the buzzard would attack and try to steal that from anything. So I don't think so. I do think this buzzard managed to kill the scrub hare. Wouldn't that have been fascinating to watch? But this looks like a small scrub hare. It's not a full-grown scrub hare, not like the one we just saw. This is much smaller. So probably a bit easier for the buzzard to kill. It's fascinating. This is great. Starting to drizzle a little bit now. Cindy still clocking up those birds for your Djuma list, and you say this is 209 for your Djuma list. That's a very impressive list number for this area. 209. Wow, Cindy.
Well done, Cindy.
Yeah, even Ferg says well done. That's very good. That's an impressive list for this area. Let's see if I can read anything else interesting about the common buzzard. It is a Palearctic migrant, the common buzzard. So usually arrives October to November and departs February to April. So pretty soon these common buzzards will disappear. I'll read up a little bit more about them for you, but let's go across to Ali and find out that if she managed to have any luck with her search for a leopard.
Seems like it's been quite an unusual sighting or afternoon all around for all three of us out and about. Seems like Byron has been very lucky today with things eating other things or animals eating other animals. We haven't found a leopard or a lion or anything that could have maybe put the elephants in such distress. They seem to have calmed down now. They're slowly coming into this particular area, this road that I'm in, which is a little bit more open, but I think they're going to take their time. There's the occasional trumpeting every now and again happening, but as we drove through one of the roads, they were on both sides of the road quite happily feeding. Now I'm going to carry on investigating, but while I do that, let's head over to Tristan, who's investigating why the impala are running around.
Let me go back, man. Hey, do you want me to go back? Or are you good?
You're live.
Now, apparently we are live, which is quite interesting because I didn't know that we are at all. Anyway, it's the way it goes down here on Chitwa. As comms are a delight. Anyway, we're watching these impalas rutting around, and so I'm going to try and turn so that VM doesn't have to deal with all of this equipment that is in his way. How's that, VM? Is that better? So, there we go. The impala's all running around, rutting very close to where we lost Tingana. And so it's the reason why we're just sitting tight, is in case he comes back hearing this and moves into this area, maybe trying to hunt them. We also had elephants run across the runway at one point. And so it's all been kind of happening in this area. It's been very kind of interesting to watch what's been going on. It's amazing how it's just been so much action just in one place. It's been absolute chaos. Everything seems to have settled down now, though, in terms of our impalas all going very kind of still and taking it a little bit easier. Although I feel like it's a moment's notice is going to break out. Lots of males in this grouping, so it tends to be why there's so much chasing around going on and lots of noises and grunting and gargling that's been happening. Are you boys all settled now? It just takes one, though. One triggers all the rest of them, and then before you know it, there's literally just impalas running in every direction. And like I say, lots of noise that is made. It's very cool to hear when they do it. No, now everybody's gone quite quiet. It seems as though all is quite still. But if that didn't get Tingana's intention, I don't know what will, because you can see those impalas are right where Tingana was. That's basically going into where that tree was and where he was sitting. And so if he hasn't heard these, then I don't know, then he's not in this area, or he's not interested in hunting them anymore. But you can see they're a little nervous in that section. They probably can smell still the death and carcass that is in that area. There's still obviously a little bit of the head still there, and there's lots of smell around that area. There's obviously scent for lions as well. Are they snorting or alarm calling? No, one is sneezing. Djuma, the male impalas win females or herds by fighting other males. So the more that they run around and gargle and snort and chase other males and fight other males off, the more attracted the females are to them. And so they'll literally just chase males all over the place until they're the only male that's left in the area. In that case, they then take over the females and mate with them. So that's how it basically works. Is it's all about the strongest male chasing off all the others and being the sole male left. So the females know that if he's the male that's stayed in the area and chased all the others off, then in all likelihood he is the one that is the strongest and the best genes to be able to mate with. So that's why they'll kind of go through that phase and why they get into that situation. But that impala is looking very sternly in that direction. I'm pretty sure it can smell leopard. I don't think it can see anything. It's not snorting or alarm calling. If they saw a leopard, they would alarm call immediately. And these guys obviously are just very, very relaxed and are not really making too much noise at this stage. And they're kind of walking in there a little bit further. The reason why I'm sitting tight with them is just in case they let out an alarm call and they can indicate to us where Tingana is. You never know. Sometimes you get lucky and that happens. Seems as though everybody's just kind of standing around. Right, well, we'll give it maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, and while we do that, let's send you back across to Byron and that incredible sighting of the steppe buzzard and scrub hare.
This bird, I've just moved away a little bit to try give it some more space, hoping that it comes down to feed again. But it is fascinating. They, as I mentioned, Palearctic migrants, so they do migrate to other continents, but all the way to Eastern Europe, Siberia, non-breeding grounds in Southern Europe. They go to Sub-Saharan Africa, Southwestern Asia. So this is a very well-traveled bird. It's amazing. So I do apologize about that stick now. It's just moved slightly. But I don't want to start the car again in case we disturb it some more. I'm just hoping that it comes down to feed on the remains of that scrub hare. I'm trying to keep my voice down, and as I said, we moved further back. So we're just going to wait and see. The frogs are now starting to call again. Those are little, firstly the bubbling cassinas again, and also painted reed frogs. Can you hear them? I love the sound of that bubbling cassina.
Can you make it?
No, I can't make the sound, folks. No, I don't know. Sorry, I can't do it. No, not even going to try anymore. Well, this was a very interesting sighting, but I think we're going to be a bit respectful of this bird, and we're going to move on. I'm sure once we've moved, it'll probably come down again and feed a little bit more on that, on its kill, on its prize. But that is impressive. That is wonderful. See, just when you least expect it, you see something interesting. And that is great. That's a lovely, lovely sighting. Well, I think let's leave the beautiful steppe buzzard, or rather common buzzard now known as the common buzzard. I prefer steppe buzzard. Yeah. Leah, speaking about the birds of prey, we do not see condors here. Condors are in South America, I believe. No, we do not get them in Africa, so no condors here. Leah? Did he fly down already, folks? Just having a look if that bird is still there. I think it might have flown down again as we moved off. I can't see it now, not from our angle. It's a bit tricky here. Anyway, but I like I said, I don't want to disturb it any further. We had a nice view of it. Sure, well, that was interesting. Something different. Now, it's not quite dark enough yet, but we're probably going to have to get the spotlights out soon. See if we can find any little nocturnal creatures. It sounds like Ellie's waiting for a leopard. I wonder what luck she's had or where she is at the moment. Let's go find out.
Well, we haven't had that much luck yet, so it's definitely not the leopard that was scaring the elephants, and it seems that Hukumuri is coming our way. I think he is taking his time. According to the reports, he was heading towards the cut line. So in all leopard fashion, I am now stalking the cut line just to make sure if we get a chance to see him. I've never seen him other than a quick glimpse one night, but other than that, nothing. So I would really like to meet a new leopard, a new guy that's clearly decided that he's here to stay, although it'll be interesting to see what time we'll say. Now, we're pretty much in the south western corner of Djuma, and I cannot even hear cars in the vehicle, and we got the update from Tristan that was adamant that the reports were stating that he's coming this way. So we might as well try and wait here and just see if he does come, because then it will mean that we'll get some more spots for the evening, and that is always a good thing. But no, I almost think that I can hear cars in the distance, but I think they're still a little bit too far away for us to actually be able to determine or where they're going. And I don't even know if I'm imagining the sound and if it's wishful thinking or if it's actually happening. But we're going to sit around here for a little while, and just in the hopes that he does come this way. And if he doesn't, then we'll move somewhere else. Tristan seems like he has left Chitwa, so let's head back to him and find out where he's going.
No, I haven't left Chitwa yet. Is that a catfish? No, it looks like a terrapin. It is a terrapin that is going in the water there. So I was hoping, I came this way to see if I could find a catfish for all of you. I said yesterday that I saw catfish, and I was a little further north of where I am now, but I want to just try and see if maybe there is a catfish still lurking somewhere in this area. It looks like it's dropped too much now for a proper catfish to be swimming around in this section, although there's some nice big puddles here, so it could be. I was also kind of hoping that I would come into this area and I would be able to find Hosanna chasing catfish up and down here. Wouldn't that be quite a cool sighting? I think that would be a fun sighting to have, watching Hosanna catfishing. And I'm sure he would be pretty good at it. I know he caught a few catfish last year around this time, so maybe he was going to look for some more. You never know, maybe that's what he's doing on Torchwood, is catfishing and trying to find some. Taking a little vacation on Torchwood, decided I'm going to go there, do a bit of fishing, take it easy, and then when he's had his few days, and then he's going to come back and grace us all with his presence, because he hasn't been back since that buffalo carcass. He went north into Torchwood and has decided that's where he's going to stay for now. And knowing Hosana, he's just catching all kinds of things on that side of the world, and that's why he's just kind of taking it easy. Also, the conditions have been perfect for a hunting Hosana to be successful, so I'm pretty sure that's what he's busy with. Thought I saw something on the road, but it's just a plant, I think. Yes, it's a leaf or a plant that's on the road itself. This light is very, very gloomy at the moment. In fact, I think lights are going to be useful. Madison, most active nocturnal creatures. Are we talking mammals? Are we talking anything? If we're talking anything, probably mosquitoes are very active at night. Bats in the mammal world, very active at night. In terms of land mammals, civets, genets, pangolin, aardvark, all very active at night. What else? White-tailed mongoose, porcupines, pretty much exclusively nocturnal. There are lots of things that are active at night, but in terms of most active, I suppose bats and certain insects that fly about all night are probably the most active of them all. Bush babies, they're very active. They'll visit over 1,000 trees in a single evening, so that's a lot of work if you think about it. Now, talking about active, we're going to send you across to Mr. Activewear himself, Biceps Byron, and see what activity he's up to at the moment.
Well, I'm birding, Tristan, so not too active. I'm busy birding at the moment. There's a beautiful pale morph of the Wahlberg's eagle that we've got over here. Well, pretty soon they're going to migrate back north. As you see the different color variation. The pale form of the Wahlberg's eagle. Wahlberg's seagull. I'm sure you all heard that story from me before. The guide's accent was a little funny. The guest thought he said seagull, and he said Wahlberg's seagull. Ferg says it's his favorite actor. Who's your favorite actor? Steven Seagal or Steven Seagal? Alright. Alright, shall we use the spotlight a little bit? Nice to see that Wahlbergs. Let us see if we can find a chameleon. We said we're going to try and find a chameleon. I think Tristan raised a chameleon challenge. These challenges, I never do well in them. But let's see if we can find a chameleon. We haven't seen a chameleon for a while. Don't know why. Lots of water around, temperature's good. Just haven't seen them. Maybe the vegetation is proving it harder to find them in this really green foliage at the moment. I don't know. Let's see. Mario, there are indeed bush babies in the Greater Kruger, and we often see the bush babies on Safari Live. I haven't seen some this stint yet, but we get the lesser bush baby and the greater bush baby. Now, the lesser bush baby is probably more common. We tend to see a lot more of them around. But they are, in size-wise, lesser bush baby is about this big, very, very small. Not big at all. The greater bush baby can get to about that size. They've got an eerie, eerie sound, almost like a baby screaming when they call at night. I've seen greater bush baby here once. We weren't live, we were actually just at the lodge. But we did see a greater bush baby, which was fascinating. Shall we have a look and see if that scorpion is here again? It is. I can just see it hiding in there. Might be a bit difficult, Fergs, I don't know. But in that hole is a scorpion. There we go. Can you see in there? It's a bit tricky. You can just see the pincers. Yeah, we need one of those little UV lights. I don't have. There we go. There we go. You can see the pincers just hiding in there. It's not quite dark enough yet. Let's just see. Maybe there we go. From Fergus's angle, you can see a little bit better. Hold on. There you are. You can see that scorpion hiding in there. Apistocanthus asper. That is the name of the scorpion. And I think as soon as it gets a little bit dark, it'll probably come out. Wait for some insects to crawl past that hole. Grab them with its pincers. Sorry folks, can we hold it there? Let me just see something. Hold on, I'm just going to jump out for a second. Have you still got it there? That's fine. I just want to see if maybe I can coax this little one out slightly, just to get a better view of it. Cenac, you asked if bush babies feed on scorpions. No, they don't. Not bush babies. They mainly feed on sap and occasionally fruit and that. Fruit, nuts and mice. So up here. There we go. Tell me if he moves, folks. Oh, there I see him. Can you see the pincers come out there? Just coaxed him out slightly just to show you those pincers, but that's what he's waiting for, just vibrations on the edge of the hole. That's what the scorpion picks up, and then they will launch out and catch whatever prey is walking past, whatever insects. But thank you very much, folks. That was nice. It's always nice to see these little creatures. I enjoy scorpions, I must be honest, I really do. Anna Marie, I don't think these tree scorpions only hunt at night. I'm sure they hunt during the day at times, but they are generally nocturnal. They move at night. That's when there are a lot more insects around that they can feed on. So generally it is at night that they hunt, Anna Marie. Sorry, this is just a bit bumpy over here. Okay, now let's go back to Ali. Find out if that leopard she was waiting for has decided to come across.
No, he's still not coming across. I can faintly hear cars in the distance, so I think they're probably not too far, but still, they haven't managed to make their way, or he's not made his way all the way here. Here, Franklin's every now and again in the distance, and again the cars, but nope, seems like nothing really happening. So I'm gonna give it another 5-10 minutes or so, and if not, then I think I'm just gonna move on from this area. He could have very easily decided to go somewhere else inside of the property and not come onto this area, because he could have just carried on going further into Arethusa, Samambili, or he could have gone onto Huffman's in that area. But we're still gonna wait for a little while, see if perhaps he does decide to pop over and say hello. At least we've given it a chance, which is always a good thing. Now, we're pretty much at the junction of the two main roads that run in this part of the Sabi Sand, so he could go pretty much anywhere. But here's to hoping that he's gonna carry on coming this way. The power of our positive thinking will get us a glimpse of him at least. And at least it's not drizzling, which it was before, so I think overall it's an improvement. But I hear something. I feel like the noise is now coming from behind us. I think they've gone behind us, so I want to try and turn ourselves around, see if maybe we can find a better spot where we can hear them a little bit better. And again, this is quite an unusual stalking. But I'm gonna have to be quiet and listen out for the noises of the cars, so while I do that, let's head over to Tristan and find out what he's up to.
Well, I've come back towards Djuma and I'm checking Janet Jackson's area. So you can see we're going to go into infrared to try and check it. No sign of any Janet inside there, I'm afraid. Janet Jackson is on vacation once again. The gloomy weather's come in and Janet Jackson's decided, nope, time to go to a better, sunnier spot for now. So, of course, that's not really the case. It's just probably hiding somewhere up in the tree. Unfortunately, with the roof, very difficult for us to be able to actually see any higher than that. So I can't even see the holes above there, which makes it a little bit difficult to find out whether or not Janet Jackson is maybe lurking higher up this evening. Could be. We know that Janet is very mobile down that tree. Cheetah, the spotlights and blinding of animals is obviously a serious debate that gets raging on and on and on for years and probably will continue to rage on for years. The spotlights essentially, it can do, if you don't use it properly, it can certainly affect the way an animal sees what's going on. All you have to do is take a light and shine it into your eyes and realize that, it's not very pleasant, and at that specific moment they can't see too well. So the idea is behind a spotlight is that you don't shine it directly into the animal's face, is that you try and shine it kind of down to the ground, almost bounce the light up onto the animal and try and not highlight its eyes too much, because obviously, like I say, if you've ever had a torch shined in your eyes, you'll know what it's like. But essentially, apparently, according to vets that I've spoken to, no, the eyes itself don't actually get damaged by it, so they don't get hurt. It's just that it's obviously not comfortable for them to look into it. Funnily enough, though, for us, when we get a light in our eyes, we'll gaze away immediately, or we'll close our eyes, or we'll try and sort of stop. But I've seen lions and leopards stare straight at spotlights for long periods of time without even blinking and not too phased at all. So I suppose maybe their eyes just work slightly different to ours, and the pupil will just dilate that much smaller and it'll be able to cope with it. Apparently it doesn't hurt their eyes and that they're okay. I'm not sure I'm 100% into that argument, and it's why we've moved into the IR situation. So our IR lights will have no effect on their eyes whatsoever. They can't even see the light at all. So we use the IR light just to highlight them up so that we don't have to make use of spotlights, and we use spotlights purely as a spotting point of view. So as we're shining, we pick up the eyes and then we can go into IR and be able to view them in that. And so it's really changed the way that we're able to do our safaris, and for the better, I think. I think personally, shining lights into animals' eyes is probably not the best thing, and it's also, it shows the animal up in a dark environment, or it's causing an animal to temporarily lose what it's seeing. So I'm a huge fan of the IR and the infrared stuff, and I can't wait for infrared technology to get that much better that it almost has the same sort of scope and distance that we get out of our spotlights, that normal light, as an IR light. So it's a wonderful thing to have, and it really, like I say, has opened up a whole new world for us, because now we can even view animals that are diurnal with these infrared lights, because we're playing no part in affecting them at all. So I suppose technology has its advances and its advantages, should I say, as well. Right, now I think I'm going to go just sneak past Treehouse Dam. Why not? It's that time of the day where anything could be a Treehouse Dam. Maybe little Tumba arrives and shows up. You never know. It could be that happens. Given that it's been a fairly quiet time on Djuma in terms of our leopards, it might be a good place to check. Now, talking about infrared, I believe Byron has busted out his infrared, and I wonder what he's looking at.
I think we had infrared on. We don't have infrared on. We're using the spotlights at the moment. I've got infrared on the camera. Oh, there. Sorry, I wasn't looking. I've been searching. I do apologize. I do apologize. This is what safaris looked like in the 1920s. Yeah, except I had a moustache in those days, and my hat was different. Yeah, my little bowler hat, and I also was dressed a lot smarter. Can you imagine James looking like Charlie Chaplin? Please don't tell James. I suppose he says as much as Charlie Chaplin to us normally. He's only chatty on camera. Ah, James. I wonder when he's going to be released from Kenya. Tristan says I look like one of the characters of Laurel and Hardy. Well, Tristan,
He looks like the guy that chases around like the Popeyes.
I think that's fair. So I'm Laurel, and that would make Tristan Hardy. I think the other night in the tent we definitely look like Laurel and Hardy. Sure, I don't know why we are unable to spot any chameleons. I was saying to Fergus, my friend Judas that I used to work with was incredible at spotting things at night. And he would he'd often spot snakes at night in the trees. And I really am unable to spot a snake at night. I've never spotted a snake in a tree at night, but Judas often in summer, mainly in summer, boomslang or the tree snake up in a tree at night. Now I don't know if it's got something to do with the area, although you know this was only a little bit further south where we used to do that. But he taught me how to spot chameleons properly and scorpions at night. Kirsten says James Henry is watching us at the moment from the Mara. Good evening, James. Hope you're doing well. What's for dinner up there? I wonder what James... Does James have to cook for himself there at the moment? Looking very carefully here, but I just am not able to find anything. You see, that's the thing, and that's why I love Safari Life so much, is because we're able to show you the wonders of nature and all these amazing animals, but also to show you how difficult it is to find them. You can drive around for ages searching. There's never a guarantee that you're going to see something. And with having a few more vehicles out, it's obviously more beneficial for all of us. It's definitely beneficial for us, because if Tristan finds a leopard or Ali finds a leopard, I can go look for something else, and vice versa. So we try and show you as much as possible, but there are 3 vehicles out, and at times one of us might just not see as much as the others. James says he's having pepper steak for dinner tonight, and that he doesn't have to cook. Thank goodness, because I've had some of the food that James has cooked. I wouldn't recommend it. Alright, well, Tristan's also got his spotlight out and he's busy searching. I wonder if he's got any luck so far. Let's go find out.
Well, so far, no luck, Byron, but I do want to ask if James is watching. James, please can you send Byron some of those eye tests that you were showing us the other day about color blindness, because clearly Byron needs to have his eye checked, and to just so that he knows when we're in infrared and that we lack color altogether. Also, hello James, how are you? Hope that you are having a good time in the Mara. It will be nice to have James. I was thinking the other day that maybe what we should do is, if it rains again, is maybe we should get James to join us on a Skype call in the tent, and we can have James vicariously answer some of our questions and have a chat in the tent. I don't know, we'll think about it. I'll talk to James about it. Maybe we can do that in some way. I know a lot of you are missing James as per normal. James is obviously one of our funnier members of Safari Live and is generally one that is missed the most, I think, out of everybody in our team. Now, what else was I going to say to Byron? Also, Byron's comedy, Laurel Hardy, Charlie Chaplin. I did giggle at Charlie Chaplin. I thought that was quite funny, and I feel like that was not a bad sort of, what would we call it? A thought as to who Charlie Chaplin would most look like. So I thought I quite liked that and did giggle a bit about that. And in terms of Laurel and Hardy, I'm afraid, Byron, you're keeping the Hardy tag because you had no originality in coming back to me about those characters. I think Hardy's the bigger one. Is Hardy the bigger one? I don't know. Apparently, Bayam and I were discussing this. We weren't sure. So James has accepted the offer to do a Skype call in the tent one of these fine afternoons. So, like I say, if we get a bit of rain, especially if there's rain forecast all the way till Tuesday, I'm sure we will do another tent, and in which case we'll get James involved, and we'll try and do a fun segment with James and Skype, and we'll try and get Byron and do a tent segment. I'm sure there'll be lots of laughs and something to look forward to. Hopefully all of you will want to join us for that as well. Right, now Byron, I believe, is viewing a large grey animal with his infrared, and he is now cottoned on to what infrared means and that we are indeed in IR.
Yes, now I know. I did not see the screen, Tristan. But we've got a beautiful big elephant bull enjoying marula fruit as usual. A nice big bull, very relaxed. Can hear bubbling casinas in the background. Woodland kingfishers still calling. A lot of insects and other frogs. It's that time of the evening where a lot of these tiny creatures come alive and really start calling. Now, this isn't the elephant that is known as Daryl. Now, I've heard that elephant being named a lot or spoken of a lot, but I saw him, I saw him yesterday or the day before, just outside camp, but I haven't seen him on drive yet. He's got a prominent hole in his ear, so it makes it quite easy to identify him. But I remember Taylor speaking about him last year. He's been around again. This is such a wonderful way to end the drive for me. Just sit and spend time with an elephant at night. You can actually hear him throwing the fruit into his mouth. I'm just going to move the light slightly. There we go. Is that a bit better? There we go. I can hear the wildebeest calling, the young wildebeest. The wildebeest calves giving a slight little grunt on the clearing behind us. the Senegal lapwings flying over us. Senegal lapwing. It's calling. No owls calling yet, but there's some wonderful sounds at the moment. I'm sure all of you are enjoying it. Just sitting peacefully watching this big elephant. Can still hear him chewing on that fruit. And we know some of the fruit they just swallow whole, don't even chew them. I'm going to try to roll forward a little bit. Shall I, folks? Let's see if we can. I don't want to start the vehicle. Can I roll? Will the vehicle roll? No, it won't. It won't. All right, let's go across to Ali and get an update from her with that leopard. Has it come across yet or not?
Unfortunately not, and I don't think it will. We waited patiently for quite a while, but it sounded like the noises of the cars were very, very far away, and in addition to that, we couldn't even see any spotlights. So that would be, unless he's hunting and the spotlights are up, that would have also helped us in trying to pinpoint the location where he might have crossed onto our area, but unfortunately nothing. So I think, well, I've decided that we were going to abandon or wait, just because I don't think there's a real chance of this leopard actually coming in onto Djuma, at least for the time being. But we also do know that Hukumu seems to mission quite a bit in the same old-fashioned way as Tingana used to when he was feeling a little bit better. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe tomorrow morning we find tracks of him somewhere in here. It seems like by the report that I got that he was on a steady move, so hopefully later on today, or well, tonight already, we'll see him coming our way, and then tomorrow we'll be able to start this game again where we try and track him once more. Other than that, there's been pretty quiet all around the what's the name? Cut line. Oh my goodness, I can't even think. So while I get my words back, let's head over to Byron and the elephant.
Just hold on, this elephant is very close to us now. He's decided to move around the back of us. It is a little dark, but I'm sure you can still see. Oh, he just flapped his ears slightly at us. Very pungent smell. It's not a very pleasant smelling elephant. He's just walked past us. He's heading off. That was nice and close. He came and stood right next to us at one point. He's now urinating. It's a bit difficult to see him. It's a bit dark outside, I think. Sorry, the lights. I might just be able to see a little bit of him. No, he's directly behind the pole there. Oh well. We had a nice view of him, so that's okay. But he was very close to us. He was right next to us. He never once showed any sign of aggression, but he did open his ears. He made himself look a bit bigger, and he was. It was clear that he didn't want us to get closer, but he came up to us, and then just slowly turned and moved around the back of the vehicle and walked on. It was wonderful. So unfortunately, Ali did not have any luck with a leopard. But maybe tomorrow, we might have some luck tomorrow with it. Now, Scrant, you say you would feel a little insecure at night out here with some of these animals. And there's... You know, as long as you are on a vehicle, then you are safe. But it can be a bit daunting at times. I think, especially for people who have never been out to Africa, first time. But I know people friends of mine even that come out regularly, and for them also being out at night, it's not something they're used to, and you get a bit nervous, which I don't think is a bad thing. And I'll say that because, we always have to have respect for nature, never take things for granted. These animals are wild animals. You do still have to be careful and respect them. And some alates. Oh, just throw that little one out there. There we go. Saving the alates. Now they're attacking me. I didn't enjoy them. I didn't enjoy being saved. Maybe it's a different one. Oh, well. You see what happens when you're kind at times. Yeah. That's it. All right, shall we go? I can't remember between Laurel and Hardy. Who was the big one and who was the thin one? Maybe my friend can tell us. Let's go find out from him.
Well, Byron, Hardy was the bigger one and Laurel was the taller, skinnier one. So according to Kirsty, you, my friend, are Hardy and I am Laurel. Not that I'm in any way skinny at all. But anyway, just a little bit. Byron says I'm Hardy, Kirsty. Okay, Byron. If that's what you want, I'll be Hardy. It's okay. I'll squat every time I'm next to you so you can appear tall. For now, I'll just, try and be shorter than you. It's going to be very difficult unless I cut off my legs at my knees to be the same height as you are. But anyway, fair enough, Byron. I'll take it. I'm not opposed to being called a different name. It's not the first time anybody has called me some sort of nickname, that's for sure. But we are slowly meandering home. We've tried to find all kinds of things. I looked for Tumba, actually. I went on Ingwe Alley, in the hope that we would have a little leopard to finish up this evening. But alas, our leopard decided that it was kind of time to sort of have a rest and hide out. And so Djuma really needs to show us a leopard in the next little bit. We've had a very quiet time of it leopard-wise in the last little bit. Lions have been good, but leopards need to come to the party. But it is that time of the day, as I mentioned, that myself, Byron and Ali are going to start heading back to camp. We have apparently a games night tonight, so it's murder mystery evening. So somebody is a murderer. It's not me, definitely not. And hopefully we will find out who it was. We'll have to update you all in the morning as to who it was. But from Byron, myself, Ali, all the cam-ups, and Kirsty and FC, and Alicia, I think, was also on duty, or Ashley, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Sunrise Safari.